Allah, impeccable timing as always. I'd heard you were off to the first as part of our efforts to investigate the final days. Well, as so often it seems to be the case, while you were away, we've had some few developments, which we can discuss in just a moment. For now, however, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to have you back. Carrying our song as the heavens burn. So, have you learned aught more of the final days? Then the journey was well worth the risk. No doubt your newfound knowledge will be a great boon to us all. Unfortunately, during your time on the first, events have taken a turn for the worse. The Scions are running themselves ragged trying to contain the spread of the blasphemies, but it's a losing battle. To try and ascertain the where and why of it, Alizé and Alphino have been traveling all over. Of all the regions they visited, Locus Amonis is one of the most affected. Thancred, Estinian, and Graha took a detachment of allied soldiers there to offer aid and succor to those. But the province is vast. They only managed to visit a handful of coastal villages. It was an accomplishment worth celebrating, still, but a drop in the bucket at best. In the meantime, Ishtola and Master Matoya have been making a concerted effort to establish contact with Hydaelyn in the Ethereal Sea, but to no avail. As for Tataru and I, we've been keeping a close eye on the Forum. From what we gather, they've been constructing a vessel to ferry people to the moon, an ambitious project that has likely been years, if not decades, in the making. However, since we've seen no sign of it thus far, I suspect it's still incomplete. You will also recall the proposal issued by Master Fortuno to the people of Razat Han. Following their discussion, Vritra declared his support for the plan and urged those who wish to evacuate to accept the Forum's invitation. So far, so good. But that's where things get a little strange. Apparently, the Forum caught wind of the lunar teleporter in the Tower of Babel, and decided to use it to deliver people to the moon instead of their mysterious ship. Therefore, to secure safe passage for the Hanish people to the tower, Alphino, Alizé, Estinian, and Graha traveled to Garlemald not long ago. Trouble is, the capital is hardly the safest place to begin with, and now the final days have come to Garlemald. Shortly after our friends arrived, they were sent to rendezvous with Master Fortuno. Then panic broke out, and communications were severed. From the fragments we were able to make out before the link shell went completely silent, we can only assume the phenomena has spread to the capital. The others need you, Allah. Please, you must help them. Having you there will make all the difference, I'm sure of it. Camp Broken Glass was their first port of call, so you best start there. Hopefully Lucia will know where they are. There's no telling what you'll be walking into, so you best take every possible precaution. Ooh, I hate that I have to put it on hold there. But I need to go to Thavnir. Not but one thing, I know. We must lay them to rest. Contain the threat. I know this is a serious moment, but I'm super fucking pumped and hyped because I'm level 90! And that means it's time! Here we go. Here we go. Let me hit the last one. Yeah! That's so fucking cool! Oh my god. Whee! Oh. Allah has achieved his final form. Light swords! Oh my god. That's so fucking cool. Recording. Testing. All's good. Alright. So. I guess we're jumping straight into an instance. So. Let's do that. Allah, and not a moment too soon. The skies over Garlemald are ablaze, but it's events on the ground that concern me. As you will have heard, your fellow scions arrived ahead of you. We cut the customary greetings short after we received word from our troops on the Magnaclacius that the Forum's airship had landed. It was then that the heavens began to burn. I dispatched your friends at once to ensure the refugees come to no harm. I would have you join them immediately. Additional support is en route, but we will discuss them later. I trust you are ready to depart. Several cutscenes. Let's do it. Earlier in Magnaclacius. Man, what the fuck is Zenos up to right now? He seems like not what we need to worry about right now.
No. We were promised an escape. Not the same room we fled.
I shall not meet my final days here in this blasted waste. Calm yourselves. Your panic is our greatest enemy. Come, we must build a line of defense.
How?
Leave the fighting to us, Father. You must lead the people to safety.
I can handle this pair.
You shall tend to the refugees. Let us be about it.
It's so good to see everyone again.
As you wish, my little lord.
We went on like a 5-hour jaunt to the past. Am I playing as Alpha Noah Sage? Alpha Sage? Hey, I don't know how the fuck to do any Sage shit. Okay,
The beast's attention. See to the wounded.
Help is at hand.
Seems to be a room wide. Is this gonna be an instance solely focused on healing for the most part?
Leave it to me.
Well, this is my first interaction with Sage.
Those who can stand, come with me.
You're safe now.
At ease, come on. It ain't over yet.
Easy now. Deep breaths.
Worry not for the refugees, but for yourself.
That's a big one. I am a DPS. Okay, that's the shield. Ugh. Okay. Wish I had a little bit of time to read all those abilities to get a bit more familiar with them, but whatever. Asinian wants to jump in. Who am I to tell him no? I'm just the fucking healer.
Help! Someone, please!
What?
Why the Odin music?
No. Don't. I don't want to die.
Forward! Let not a single fiend escape!
The cavalry's here.
Wait, that's... Euless and the army. So, you've recovered then? In time enough to be of aid. For once.
I couldn't hear you from over there. What did you say?
We can speak of it more later. For now, we must fight! To repay your salvation in kind, or with better! For Garlemald has her pride!
Of that I've no doubt.
Good gods. Of all possible saviors, the Imperial Army. Oh!
I had hoped to take all of them down at once.
Think a withdrawal might be in order?
Oh, sod that. You know who would never abandon these people to their fate. To be devoured by their former friends. That'd be beyond cruel. These beasts must fall here and now.
Well then, I'd say it's high time we threw caution to the winds.
So long as you spare me the heroic sacrifices. Now, let's go!
Alizé again. Alright. How do I play new red mage? Let's start with this button. Come on through. Ooh. Look at Graha go.
I'm fine.
Rain of meteors.
Not today.
I can do mechanics.
I'm not done yet.
More to worry about.
Oh boy.
The air crackles with energy. Find cover!
Gotcha.
As they say, turnabout's fair play. On guard.
Brazilian push. Fuck him up. Wait, did it?
There's not the barest trace of ether. Maybe there really is no way to bring them back. Thank you for saving our lives once again. I remember you, from Purusha. You helped us there too, didn't you?
Ah, you're from Palaka's stand. I'm glad you're still in one piece. Or you will be, once I see to that injury of yours.
Look out!
Is this where we come in? I'll take it. I'll take it. Shing! Oh, Graha with the save.
Get out of here! Quickly!
Do it, boy!
I won't lose them! Not a one! This will be a brighter future! I won't let a madman's apocalypse ruin everything we've fought to achieve!
You fucking tell him!
Get it together, Alize. You're embarrassing yourself. And in front of Father, no less. You might never measure up to our champion. But we ask too much of him as it is. You mustn't let our sword in the darkness fight alone.
I mean, I'll look at you. Maybe move a little bit faster. I get we're trying to look cool here, but, you know, come on. A little bit faster. Come on, let's go. I'm back, Ugan. This is precisely why you should never skip your squat regimen. All it comes in with the Big Brother energy.
I can look after myself, you know.
Everything's in order? I trust?
Ha 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 ha. Sure.
I've had enough of this rabble! Come on!
Oh, a trio for the ages.
Let's go. Oh, they turned off my shit. It's like, where the fuck are you going? Black Star. Deadly Impact. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Everything's fine. Oh. Oh, Stinian got here at some point, as well as Alphino. Alright.
This should be the last of the worst troublemakers. With me!
Did they show up when I lagged out? Beautiful laws. Oh, I'm leveled down. I can't do my sword combo. Thunder Call. Wave of Loathing.
I'm in your debt. Now, where were we?
Oh, that was a safe spot, I guess. Oops. Oh, we did it. I thought, oh god, who died? We did it. Alright guys, pull up a chair. We got a lot to talk about.
You must board without delay. The ship will depart ere long.
Your offer to host us in Sharlayan is most appreciated. But will the final days not soon fall upon it as well?
Your hesitation is not unwarranted. The satrap entrusted me with your lives, yet I have failed your comrades. Nor are you wrong to fear that this corruption will continue to spread. I cannot promise you complete safety, even in my homeland. What I can promise is that I will do all in my power to protect you.
Except fight.
That power is not inconsiderable. Even now, my countrymen are preparing the vessel that will deliver us to a sanctuary on the moon. Join us on our journey there, and beyond, to new horizons. Come to old Sharlayan. Please.
We would be fools to refuse such a generous offer made in earnest.
It seems they've a new destination.
The people of Radzat Han have known too much suffering. The march to Garlemald will only bring them more, short though it may be.
I quite agree. Fortunately, they have you to look after them.
Yes. Well.
Behind you! Just there!
We got a straggler. Come on, man, you can make it.
More of them.
What the fuck is Zenos doing here? What do you want? I have so many things to worry about that are not you.
Here! You'll be alright. Hurry to the airship. Why have you come?
A heretofore unseen beast. 'Twas ripe for the slaying. Poor sport, alas. Unfit to temper my blade.
Oh, for the love of... You cannot still be on about a rematch.
That is, and has ever been, my sole concern. You, on the other hand, are fixated on a different quarry. Your passion pales before mine. Yet neither hate nor despair seems sufficient to recapture your misdirected bloodlust.
Misdirected.
So, I hone my blade, and I wait.
That's it. That's all you care about. Garlemald is in ruins. Our homeland, the nation you rule, is as good as gone. Along with so many of its people. Not just soldiers like us. Not only those who fought and killed for power and duty. Innocent civilians. Murdered by their own flesh and blood. Lost and confused as they breathed their last. While we who survived with our lives and minds intact were left to freeze to death. The Eorzeans tell me all this was your doing! You slaughtered your countrymen! You did! For what?
For nothing, in the end. So much wasted effort.
You bastard!
For your own sake, Eulus, you must control your anger. It will serve no one should it consume you and see you transformed.
Would you be happier had I a good reason?
What?
If my motives met with your approval, would you no longer resent the outcome? If so, then perhaps a beast's skin would suit you better. Duty, honor, morality. All constructs of convenience when put to proof. Surely the war taught you how easily power becomes the tool of the self-righteous. How the people's justice was merely a means to their ends? Yet you would ask me why. Ask any creature of this star and those above for answers, and they will tell you what suits their fancy. And they would be right to do so. What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you, and you alone. Should you seek it in battle in the fruitless pursuit of my demise, then come. Assume your rightful place as a notch on my blade.
You are a blight on the Garlean race, and there would be no more satisfying way to expunge it than by beating you to death. But I will not be party to another tragedy. I refuse to lose anyone else because of you. So go. Go! And may we never suffer your madness again!
Zenos! Perhaps you found meaning in living this way. I cannot deny you found strength. Yet if you only pursue your hedonistic pleasures and pay no heed to the plight of others, then no one will give you the time of day. You will never get what you want, not even the battle you pine for so dearly. You'll be alone for an eternity, and you'll deserve every agonizing second of it.
Are we really trying to teach Zenos sympathy?
We're ready to depart. The refugee ships will be leaving shortly, but I've asked mine to remain for the time being. There's room enough for you to join me on it, if you wish. Do contain your surprise. I needn't agree with the Scion's methods or intentions to acknowledge that their deeds are deserving of gratitude.
We appreciate the offer. But might I ask why you are delaying your departure? I presume it is not solely for our benefit.
I must visit Garlemald ere we return to Sharlayan. Having caused such an uproar, 'tis only meet that I explain myself to the Ilzabard contingent.
Allow us to accompany you then. We should be glad to facilitate, given our familiarity with all concerned. If you would like to join as well, Ulysses, we can speak of recent events on the way.
That's right, I still haven't told anyone anything.
He'll be after your seat on the forum next.
Back in Garlemald. To see Zenos standing there, so uncaring and unrepentant. Gods, I don't know what came over me. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Looking back on it, I stand by those words. I would say I hope they won't incite him to further villainy, but to be honest, I doubt he even remembers what I said. Anyway, enough about all that. It's good to see you again.
No major injuries then. Good. I briefed the recovered soldiers and sent them on their way as quickly as I could, but nevertheless feared they would not make it in time.
The additional support was invaluable. Your men saved more than a few lives. Though not all, I regret to say.
I take it that I'm addressing Lucia Junius. I'm the Forum's envoy, Forchano Leveilleur. And you are owed an explanation for these most dire developments.
Another trial wrought by the final days. I was beginning to suspect as much. You doubtless feel some consternation having been forced to abandon your original plan. But trust me when I say you were right to send the refugees elsewhere. Beasts have been sighted within the capital. Perhaps it was a stroke of grim fortune that the population was decimated beforehand, as they've yet to appear in any great number, but in time. In any case, Maxima leads the remainder of the contingent in an effort to cull the creatures and evacuate the populace as we speak. Once the airships are taken to the skies, I pray your men can be persuaded to join him.
You'll permit us to retain our weapons?
I wouldn't have sent you after the Scions were I expecting you to stab them in the back.
And I, for one, would not consider past transgressions more relevant than future contributions. Regardless of the circumstances that saw us at odds before, we need men of courage now, more than ever.
That little prelude leitmotif.
We swore to defend Garlemald, and so we shall.
It seems you have everything under control. You will excuse me then, for mine own duties await.
A moment, Master Fortuno. You did desire to express your appreciation for services rendered, did you not?
I did. Though if you intend to again ask that Sharlayan alter its course, you will find my gratitude insufficient.
'Tis nothing so onerous. I wish to hear the details of this grand endeavor of yours.
Do you swear to listen and to learn, and not to embark upon some scheme to impede us?
I swear.
Any other, I would doubt. But you, I trust to keep your word. For not once broken it. Very well. I request that the Forum make you privy to our plans. You may await our summons at the Baldessian Annex, assuming the decision is in your favor. Does that suffice?
It does. You have my thanks.
Excellent. You can regale us with tales of your most recent sojourn to the First while we wait.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Did you hear something just now?
Why? Why?
Where is this star's blasted pudding?
Whatever keeps her going, I guess.
Dawn may banish
Hey!
the darkest night, and to this bitter clime bring warmth and comfort.
Hey, Anjay, it's been like 30 hours. How the fuck are you?
'Tis heartening to see such an assembly upon my return. I thought often of you whilst I looked down upon our star's brilliance from the moon above.
Yes, but what are you doing here? And dressed like that? Aren't you cold?
Verily, I fear for my health should I proceed to expand upon our purpose ere I procure more suitable garments.
Allow me to summarize. We're here because none of you lot are up there. Nor has anyone deigned to send word about any changes in the plans. It's rude, is what it is. At least that's what I thought at first, but then folks got to wondering if you weren't in a spot of bother, so we decided to take matters into our own hands. Come down here and help, if our help be needed. So she says, but it's also something of a convenient excuse to visit Etheris. Urianger made it sound absolutely marvelous. More so before the impending doom, but still.
Doom!
And it's not like there will ever be a better time. What with the aforementioned doom?
Marvellous, they say, yet not an ounce of pudding to be found. I must suffer Urianger's inferior works no more.
Get fucking wrecked, Urianger, you and your shitty pudding.
Hey! Maybe consider the plight of present company before you go blathering on about pudding and doom?
Doom pudding.
Ahem. As I was saying, should you require any assistance with whatever, we are at your disposal. We were born from Hydaelyn's love for the lives of this star, so naturally we would much prefer to see them continue. Twiddling our thumbs up on the moon is hardly conducive to that, though, is it?
In it.
Aye, not when you've all got such precious thoughts and feelings and hopes for the future deserving of more active preservation. Speaking to Urianger made us realize that while we've carried out our duties to the letter, we've failed to fulfill them in spirit. From there, it was just a hop, skip, and a jump towards resolving to do better. So please, show us how. Help us help you.
Forgive me, but are they...
You haven't met them?
Collaborators, indeed.
Hail, fellow, well met. You'd be a member of the Forum, would you? It's an honor and a pleasure to meet you at last. I'm Livingway, Hydaelyn's right paw. That last bit is very important. As am I, if I may humbly say so myself.
I bid you welcome to our star, Livingway. On behalf of the Forum, I thank you for traveling such a distance to meet us. As you have surmised, preparations for the Exodus have not proceeded as smoothly as we had hoped. I should be happy to personally escort you to our headquarters in Sharlayan, where you may advise as you deem fit.
'Twas with reluctance that I set aside the great work of readying the moon for habitation. Be assured that I did so only after the Loporitts made plain their earnest desire to come hither, and I myself felt a growing certainty that their contributions here would prove invaluable. 'Tis trite, perhaps, but I followed my heart.
Attaboy. Good to have it. All is going to do his best Urianger impersonation. May thy disciples banish this darkest of nights.
I am no esteemed philosopher of Eld. Nevertheless, 'tis my hope that what little knowledge I shared shall serve them well, and perchance help save us. Will thou attend us at the Forum and lend thine own wisdom?
If that's all quite settled, can we start moving before Urianger catches his death? Even I'm freezing out here.
Yeah, none of you guys are in warm clothes either. Oh man, this entire excursion into Garlemald has been Alla running up to people and being like, "Guys, I gotta tell you something," and then getting interrupted, and then 5 minutes later he's like, "Oh yeah, guys, I gotta tell you something," and then getting interrupted again.
Oh,
maybe once we get to Sharlayan, we'll finally
finally
be able to talk
with our fur-covered friends.
Oh boy. Oh, they brought me here. That's kind of them. I dare say Master Fortuno was a nonplussed as we learn the identity of Hydaelyn's lunar custodians. As he will soon discover, they have much and more of to offer the Forum. Might I suggest we return to the Annex forthwith? We may yet have time to discuss thy recent events ere we are summoned to the Rostra. Am I that kind of bitch? Yeah, I am. It's right over there. Yeah, but teleporting will get me there quicker. Not that I'm complaining, Urianger, but I wasn't expecting to see you quite so soon. Nor I thee. In extolling the virtues of Atheris, I did inadvertently awaken in the Loporitts a desire to avert our beloved star's demise. Krell tells us you have obtained new knowledge that may aid us in our ongoing efforts. I've news to share regarding our study of the Ethereal Sea, but your findings are certain to be of greater interest, and so I would rather hear them first. To what revelations did Hydaelyn's Elpis flower lead? Where to begin? Where to start? Then this dynamis is what drives the final days. If it and Akasha are one and the same, this all proves Nidona's theory. Were an entity, through sheer force of emotion, to channel this vast dormant reservoir into a raging river, its power might surpass even that of ether. But if our star is so replete with ether, said entity would need to be outside its influence to effectively manipulate the dynamics of the great expanse. Median, or rather the sorrow and suffering of fallen civilizations that she has been hoarding for millennia. Untold anguish and fear and hatred, drawn from every corner of the universe, all for a single purpose, the destruction of Atheris. Then our foe is no longer some unknowable calamity. We have but one aim, to defeat Median. To make it sound so simple, but you're not wrong. Vanquish Median and we deliver the world from the final days. But to even attempt it, there are two conditions. First, we must determine her location. Before Median escaped, an enchantment was placed upon her by Vana, the woman who would become Hydaelyn. The implications of temporal magics are not entirely understood, and so we cannot assume that our Hydaelyn and the Vana you met in Elpis are one and the same. Nevertheless, due to her intrinsic qualities as an all-powerful being, I'd wager that Hydaelyn possesses the knowledge we seek. Whether she would share this knowledge with us, however, remains to be seen. After all, she intends for us to flee Atheris, not to say. Do you suppose she has abandoned her pursuit of Median? The Vana I know would never give up. That's my impression, too. Otherwise, she wouldn't have used me as a conduit for her will, or provided clues such as the Elpis flower. I believe she has been waiting for mankind's answer to Hermes' question. So what's the second condition? We must find a means to reach Median. Naturally, our chosen method will depend entirely upon whatsoever she has made her nest. Then communing with Hydaelyn must be a necessity come first. Did you and Master Matoya have any luck with your investigation into the Ethereal Sea? Sadly, no. Though we enlisted the help of Arenvald and other Echo-blessed allies, we couldn't detect so much as a whisper of Hydaelyn, even from within the Anti-Tower. Master Matoya is of the opinion that in the years since abandoning it, the Forum has found some other method of receiving instructions from Hydaelyn. If so, it would be most likely that some of the apparatus for observing the Ethereal Sea built closer to home. Sorry to interrupt, we've just received word from the Forum. Your presence is required in the Rostra, where they intend to discuss the Great Exodus. And Father was able to persuade them. They're finally taking us seriously. Let's hear what they have to say. The Forum is in session, and as such the Rostra is closed to visitors. Sign on the 7th dawn. Very well. You may await in the corridor. Of course, entry will only be permitted on the condition you leave your armaments at the door, lest you forget this sacred institution holds rational discourse in the highest. The implements of war are expressly forbidden. I forgot we can walk in here.
There is a matter I wish to raise with you before we enter. We are here to listen and to learn. But if the Forum's plans are more or less what I expect, then I should like to make a proposal that will serve our ends. By your leave, of course.
I don't see why not. Your words and wits have gotten us this far.
Agreed. I will present our queries so that you may consider the most advantageous way to advance your proposal without distraction.
Thank you, everyone.
If I may have your attention, the ad hoc session will now commence. The purpose of today's assembly is to brief the Scions of the 7th Dawn, at their request, on the Great Exodus. You may enter.
What you got planned, boy?
On behalf of the Forum, I commend your heroic actions on the Magna Glaciers. We shall not soon forget your service to us and the people of Radzadhan. The Satrap, whom we have informed of the refugees' new arrangements, sings your praises as well. As an expression of our gratitude, we will endeavor to answer your questions as fully and openly as we are able.
Then let us begin. First, it is the Forum's objective to ferry the life and knowledge of this star to the moon. Am I correct?
You are. It is for this purpose that Sharlayan has labored these many long years. We have collected biological samples and scientific records from across the star. When the time comes, they will be moved from their places in Labyrinthos and Numenon and conveyed to safety. Once that critical task has been accomplished, we will begin transporting the Sharlayan citizenry, which has been categorized into groups. The earliest arrivals are to ensure hospitable environs for those who come after. Following our people, we will send those of other nations in turn, beginning with our allies. Radzat Han was foremost among these, but since the final days have already come to Thavnair, we saw fit to include the refugees with earlier groupings.
An ambitious plan. You have accounted for the safety of all nations and tribes, then?
As many as we can.
And how, pray tell, do you decide who to leave behind?
To journey beyond the sky is an unprecedented and immeasurably difficult endeavor. Introducing sources of inevitable conflict would condemn all to certain death.
Questions as to the validity of that approach aside, are your plans proceeding apace? We're under the impression that your primary means of celestial transportation is incomplete.
If only that it does not meet our optimal parameters, that is correct. This Ark, as some have taken to calling it, is fully operational and could be launched even today. However, the final days have progressed more quickly than we anticipated. At present, the ship is incapable of attaining speeds sufficient to meet our evacuation targets. Should we put the vessel into service, as it is now, we will be unable to travel to the moon and back quickly enough to complete the necessary number of trips. Precious lives and knowledge will be lost.
Seven hells. Is there anything to be done?
The ether burner, the primary means of propulsion once the craft is in the space between stars, is undergoing testing to determine whether it can be made more efficient. Though cargo is being loaded for the initial phase of the Exodus, we are prepared to continue our experimentation up to the day before launch, should it prove necessary.
What if the Scions were to solve your problem? We shall help devise a means to improve the ether burner's efficiency, on 2 conditions. If we succeed, you must allow us to meet with Hydaelyn.
"'Twas simple enough to deduce. You have a Concord, and so you would never have abandoned the Anti-Tower had you no other means of communication. One far more convenient, I suspect.
The second condition, also to be met upon our success, is that we be permitted to propose another use for your Ark.
We would be at liberty to refuse this proposal.
Of course. If we cannot prove its merit to the 99 here, who are we to stake on it the lives of all peoples of this star?
Delightful as always, Master Alfino. Oh, we couldn't have asked for a finer plan. Allow us to solve this complex engineering problem of which we were entirely unaware until moments ago. What could possibly go wrong? The satire writes itself. Yet, what field has not benefited from a change in perspective? When we are at wit's end, what we need is not the same dry theories recited ad nauseam, but fresh inspiration. I, for one, have faith in my erstwhile students to provide it, and I find their terms to be perfectly acceptable.
Order! Order! We have no time to waste on debate. I call a vote. All in favor of agreeing to the Scion's terms? "71 in favor, 28 against. The ayes have it. Fortuneau, as the architect of this project, you are the best candidate to show them its current state. And bear in mind that regardless of your personal misgivings, this is the will of the Forum.
Very well.
Call this session to a close. Return to your tasks with urgency. The final days wait for none.
Alright. Let's go see the Star Destroyer. Show me. We've got to come up with a better name than the Ark. Sorry about not letting the rest of you in on my plan. I was admittedly thinking on my feet for most part. But since we require both the means of communing with Hydaelyn and reaching Median, in the spur of the moment I saw involving ourselves with the completion of the Ark as a way to work towards both objectives simultaneously. However, we must first keep our end of the bargain by solving the problem of the Etherburner. I'd like to think it is not a challenge beyond our combined expertise, or at least the expertise of our extended circle of associates. It might behoove of us to learn how an Aetherburner actually works before we attempt to improve it, though. Going underground. As instructed, I shall take you to see the Etherburner. Meet me outside the Asian. I trust you can make your own way there. So the Ark is being built in Labyrinthos. Hardly surprising. Where else could they conceal such a massive undertaking? Our destination lies in the lowest levels. The Forum, in its wisdom, has granted you access to the Arkshian's lift. Step inside and have Hydaelyn take you to the medial circuit. I have sent your associates ahead to Logisticon Alpha on the other side of the Marial Argronomics. This expansion is just full of these damn words. Actually, there is something I have meaning to. No, never mind, it can wait. Let us attend to the matter at hand. Off we go. That's a corporate core. Shut the fuck up. What? Cryonite? Who the fuck came up with that? It's a corporate core. Hello? Oh, what is this, the fucking DMV? Sir, I must ask that you leave your horse outside.
swap 'em out. No, been there, done that. Damn near lost me eyebrows.
Think, Coco, think! We be well on our way to paradise. Visionaries patting themselves on the backs for their grand accomplishments if you'd only think!
Yes, that does sound rather lovely.
Yeah! I mean, Master Force, you know, what a pleasant surprise. We're not blasting off already, are we?
The schedule remains unchanged, for better or worse. Which is why the Forum has elected to accept assistance in resolving the Ether Burner conundrum.
Not seen you lot down here before.
There are Archons among their number, but engineering is not their expertise. Nevertheless, the Forum concedes the slim possibility that they may have insights to offer. If not, you are at liberty to return them to the surface, by whatever means you see fit.
I feel like we should get Sid in on this, maybe? Huh?
I assure you that won't be necessary. Now, about your troubles with the Ether Burner.
Aye, I'll walk you through it. Suppose I could do with a change of pace. As the name ought to tell you, the Ether Burner burns ether, ambient or otherwise, and transforms it into motive force. Think of it like a giant bomb that never stops exploding. Even out in that black void where the ether's right sparse, it's strong enough to move our arc. And it probably won't kill you like an actual bomb.
Probably.
But it ain't perfect. According to my calculations, to travel to the moon and back fast enough for the Forum's liking, the conversion rate needs to be 6% more efficient.
6%? We're waiting on 6%.
A measly 6%, you say? But if I could have squeezed even another 0.6 out of it, don't you think I'd have built it that way in the first place?
Hast thou consulted with the Loporitts?
Yes, they too are conducting their own research, for lack of a ready answer. The moon's propulsion systems are considerable, naturally, yet they are commensurately massive. It is no easy feat to convert their technology into an efficient means of propulsion for a teeny tiny toy boat, as they say, as I most certainly do not.
Yes, exactly! Damn it all, I asked for refined adamantite and they send me uppity rabbits with inscrutable, ancient, incompatible technology! You're trying to drive me mad!
Do you speak of Allegan refined adamantite, perchance?
You know of it?
Only in the most general terms, I'm afraid. 'Twas an alloy of Allegan make, but the secrets of its production were closely guarded. As I recall, the record stated it was vital to Dalamud's construction and launch.
Aye, that's the stuff. No material more conductive far as I know. Slotting some ends like blowing up a dam and watching the river of ether come rushing through. Ain't a living soul that knows how to make it, though. We were fortunate enough to salvage some for the ether burner, just a wee bit, mind, from a chunk of Dalamud that came hurtling into the northern empty during the calamity. With more, well, that extra 6% efficiency would be child's play. It's a crying shame that we've no other sources.
Surely the many shards of Dalamud scattered throughout Eorzea would suffice. Why not get the refined adamantite from them?
Oh, we tried, believe you me. But only a few specialised pieces would have had any in them to begin with. Drive calls from Ragnarok-class internment hulks. Those are the prize bits we really need. According to the Gleaners, getting to them means delving deep into the shards. And the defences are still very operational and very eager to blow them up.
Well, it sounds like we've got a dungeon to visit. Once again, the fucking Allegans.
It's rough going in there, even for the cream. Not sure they'd make it out alive.
Weren't we near that part of the Ragnarok when we went to destroy Bahamut?
You really need to go for the what's it? Raven's ghost. It haunts me.
Heavens, are you all right? You look pale as a...
Pizza slices. Tank busters.
Best put that battle from your mind for now. Deep breaths. That's it.
There are multiple internment hulks in Eorzea alone, so handling this ourselves may not be the most efficient option. Rather, if we could salvage adamantite from the shards simultaneously... Thancred, is the link shell we established before you went to Garlemald still active?
Of course. The floor is yours.
What's all this? Gathering firewood, so to speak. We alone can accomplish little, but joined by others, we may yet build a bonfire to carry us heavensward.
Had to use that word.
This is Alphino. The Scions have need of you.
Understood. I will contact the Lord Commander and dispatch our finest at once.
My sisters are somewhat preoccupied with the final days, so I will lead the 12-Sword expedition myself.
Are you aware of any other sources of refined adamantite?
Logically, such an invaluable alloy would have been utilized solely where absolutely necessary, in components intended to conduct or collect surpassing amounts of ether.
Like the crystal
Any
tower.
extant instrumentation or devices would have likely found their way into the hands of etherologists, or enthusiasts.
Magical artifacts of Allagan design? The Eastern Alliance will send word to one and all. Are there other ways we may offer aid? No shards of the Lesser Moon scar our soil, but our stake in this cause is no less for it.
Is there anything in Othard that might be of use to you?
What did you say? Oh, you got friends in far places, lad. Anyway, if you're offering, I wouldn't say no to one of those Far Eastern sacred relics. Some of them can hold enough ether to summon a whole damn primal. Combine a source like that with the ether burner, and 3, 2, 1, kaboom!
I gather you heard his explosive enthusiasm. Might you secure us a suitable relic?
It shall be done. I know little of machines, but I promise we will do our utmost to gather the materials you need to finish your starship. I am glad for the work, in truth. Better to busy oneself than wait and fret over disasters foretold.
Then why are we all still standing about yapping? There's plunder for the taking. And I'm a born plunderer. I'll be an old Charlian before you know it. Start mixing the grog.
I'm certain that can be arranged. Thank you all, and do be careful.
Just like that.
Aye, just like that. Our refined adamantite is on its way. Now let us consider our next steps, shall we? There's yet much to be done.
God damn it, motherfucker, would you smile? Jesus Christ. Estinian smiles more than this dude. It's times like these we're reminded how famous or infamous Alphino has become. Who'd have thought he could achieve so much with a single Link Pearl conversation? As we're expecting rather a lot of visitors in the near future, I'd best return to the surface and inform the relevant parties. I also have a contact of my own that might be worth a try. Oh, and who might that be? That's for me to know and you to find out. And on that note, I leave matters here in your capable hands. Best of luck. In Ul'dah.
Our course of action is clear. We must harvest refined adamantite from the shards of Garlemald and procure arcane relics of Allagan make. Summon the best and brightest of our immortal flames, and form an expeditionary party at once. Call upon the Sultan Sworn and Brass Blades for support as you must. Papashan, send word to the guilds. We will require the expertise of master artisans if we are to have any hope of identifying and recovering these elusive materials. Viergeist, we have need of your stone torches.
These guys were in the Blue Mage quests.
They are to assist the immortal flames in scouring the ruins and to help secure the surrounding areas. I trust I can count on your support.
As commander of the Stone Torches, my son Zimberk will personally see it done.
Pippin, I would have you lead the raiding party. Assemble your finest, and with Tizona's blade clear the way. Lord Loporitts, I pray you take charge of the search for Allagan relics. Surely you know of some being traded on open or clandestine markets, or sleeping in collectors' vaults.
Bum, bum. Dun, 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 dun.
Of course, I ask not that you do this out of the kindness of your heart. By all means, profit on the transactions. I wish you the joy of it. The final days descend upon our world. If circumstances are truly as dire as they say, Ul'dah's best efforts may be for naught.
The world's about to end, and this man's still worried about coin.
And yet, when we Eorzeans rose from the ashes to rebuild our broken realm, did we not learn one simple truth? That which seems all but impossible to overcome alone may yet be possible if we stand together. It was the Scions who united us then, and it is the Scions who call upon us now. Ul'dah will answer that call. We will summon our courage and join the fight for our world's future. You know your duties. I, Nanamo Ul'Namo, 17th in the line of Ul, bid you good luck and Godspeed.
The Black Shot. Are we gonna get a speech from everybody? Some familiar faces here. Oh! God, there's the base guild trainer from the Lancers Guild.
We fielded a goodly number, but our ranks are heavy with healers, and an abundance of restorative magics will be of little help in destroying Dalamude's defenses. Still, it has ever been thus with Gridania. We must steel ourselves for a protracted engagement.
Please.
In that case, might I suggest taking us along?
I guess if there's no
Commander
shards near
Hext.
Alamigo.
What are you doing here?
That's right, Alamigo's
None of
not
the
too far
shards
away
in
from
Girabania
Gridania.
are big enough to hold an internment hulk. So we said to ourselves, why not lend our neighbors a hand? We thought you might be short on people with a talent for breaking things.
While it pains me to admit it, you are right. Our deficiency so plain to see.
It might have been a lifetime ago, but I was once one of the scions assigned to the Shroud. I know this forest well. I know your people. And I know we will be stronger if we fight this fight together.
I'm so glad they're playing some Coils music. I've always loved it.
Then I will impose upon you with a clear conscience. Come, let us speak of how to integrate our forces.
I won't let it all be for nothing. I promise you, Papalimo.
Cut to. Cut this! Who's in the squad?
There you are! We've no time to waste, brother. Everyone has already...
He's still with us. He's in my heart and on my back. Ready for one last battle.
That was a roar! A dragon's roar!
Which dragon? The Ruby Sea.
And so, in summation, the Eastern Alliance, as well as the Honourable Lord Loporito himself, reached out to me for assistance in procuring these treasures of the divine, and I, in turn, do beseech the Confederacy for aid.
Hey!
Is that...
Has to be.
Hancock?
Yeah!
What a surprise this is. And a fortuitous one at that. I have a favor to ask, you see.
Seiryu? What are you doing here? Oh, is this a new rendition of Torn from the Heavens? It sounds like the one from the Endwalker trailer. Though our friends are searching for refined adamantite sacred relics, we will only know if they meet our requirements once they are arrived. In the meantime, is there aught we might do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. If I had to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about elegant technology. Well, you there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than your average scholar. If only Master Kokol knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our arrangement, but I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse. And if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantine. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you've a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. What are you doing up there? Somehow. Oh, I know these. Oh, I know what these are. Grapes, yes? Let's see if they are as delicious as they look. Nom, nom, nom. So sweet, so sour. The taste is much like ripe philosopher's carrot. And yet the texture is entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Nom, 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 nom. Well, that's certainly given me food for thought. But though it is far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. But tell me, what are your opinion of grapes? I breathe an erupting volcano for a choice punch. There is no other answer. Yes, they are fresh moorish. They are rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I've read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next tree. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Let's eat. I hope they took the peel off first. That color, that texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? No, in any case, proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. Ugh, it's so hard and flavorless. I may as well be chewing on a piece of wood. That all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. What a wondrous fragrance. With any luck, it'll have a flavor to match. As I have no idea what these are, how these are eaten, I'll just bite into it. Ugh, my tongue. Is this poison? A lemon? You mean it's supposed to taste like this? Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges, less so with the pumpkins. Though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. Then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I still feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one, so I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon? Have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, Would be remiss of me to spurn this opportunity to... Oof. Bit of a sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, Lemon Muffin, do your worst. Odd choice of sound effect. This is... delicious! Although I still detect a hint of lemon, it complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed its vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. See? We rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a starring role in all sorts of recipes. And the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal, and sometimes that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the Forum agonized over the worth of preserving, and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Hydaelyn sees in your kind. Mankind, the Loporitts, we were both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fate of the stars themselves. Once civilization has fulfilled the basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity to achieve perfection. And therein lies the folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal, 'tis the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quest, and all too often become the architects of their own demise, their dreams forever unfulfilled. What, then, is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect, to be content with what all we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, we make lemon muffins. Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about? And who are you anyway? Cooking Way at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many Eorzean species as possible, if you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course, I look forward to it. Well, this has all been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianger and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Well, I trust thy time at Mariel Agronomics did bear fruit. Our own efforts too were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlian Hamlet forthwith. I shall gladly attend to each and every Loporit there, should further questions within my power to answer arise. Ah.
so much in, well, in forever.
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
'Twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
That's our pilot?
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that, were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget...
Those must be her parents.
Oh there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Yes, I am.
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
It hath been some time. 'Tis good to see you in good health.
Likewise, old friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
Arthur, the nerve.
She looks just like her.
Sending that letter, then running off to the gods know where.
Oh.
Do you have any idea how worried we were?
Yep, come shit.
I'm sorry. 'Twas remiss of me not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'll want.
If there is one thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand, we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings. The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know. We always know.
I remember when you were young, how the lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping. No matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
And look at you now, at the center of the crowd. The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together. You've no idea how proud we are.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be.
Oh, I wasn't prepared to cry this much.
I can see her in you, too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too. The truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
This moon breeder. She was important to him, wasn't she?
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing.
Damn it, now my nose is running. Ugh, I'm a wreck. What? Excuse me, I didn't have fucking tissues prepared. How foolish of me. Oh, God. We're doing the fucking stupid quests with these goddamn moon rabbits. That's probably racist, I'm sorry. Fucking. Oh, God. Hit me with this shit out of nowhere. How dare you? Okay, I'm better.
And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Is the sun supposed to rise in that moment? Or did I just have incredible timing? Oh Allah, be assured that I am fine. I am. Full glad to see them, too, after so very long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, it would have been far harder had I faced them alone. This game, man. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loporitts. Not disposed to the rest of their laurels, several of our guests... Is it bad that the second I saw several, my mind auto-completed several cutscenes will now play in sequence? Oh god. Several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still have come hither seeking counsel, and so I shall remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alize. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Oh, you must be one of the Scions, correct? Thank you for caring for my daughter. The time she spent with you was all too short, but I know she was proud to have you as comrades. Urianger is too, I'm sure, and I certainly feel better for knowing he was good friends to look after him. See that he comes home from time to time, will you? Classical Rodigan isn't so different from Eorzean. Did you ever wonder why we named our daughter Moonsprite? When I first held her, the moon was shining silver and full. The whole world seemed to glow. I knew I had chosen her, that she would be a beacon to the selfsame light. Of course, we'd later hear our fair share of jokes about how we ought to have gone for sun instead, with how bright and stubborn she was. But fiery as Moonbrita was, she was always kind and gentle. Alright. Off we go. Hey girl. Ala, what are you doing here? No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Hafenau should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. And we're off. I assume it's this way. Yeah. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put that there with the others. You have my gratitude. But how did you come to be involved in this? Ah, then I suppose I have Thancred to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. It turns out that this is a base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. What's in this damn crate? Oh, it's Alize. That should be everything. You carried all of that once. Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh hush, they're lighter than they look. And not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopaldin is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We've brought samples from Charlene Hamlet. Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I'd expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully shorthand. Just a moment. You are Fortuna's children, are you not? Alphino and Alize at your service. You're well acquainted with Father, I take it. Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days in the studium. I remember when you were, yea, hi, waddling hither and thither. Clearly it's been quite some time since we've met. 'Tis good to see you again, wielding your father's new list, no less. You knew our parents when they were young. What were they like? Pray spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well, then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Wait right there. Where am I off to? Nope. You will find a forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alize. I'm certain they will be back soon enough. Quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. We return, with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons. You will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes, and... This is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, to reiterate. Of course, of course. I've known your father for so long. I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Levier name garners so much respect in Charlian is your family's storied history. You two can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard the Niemkref's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Niemkref's pronouncement renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, aye. Archon Louis Sois looked not to Niemkref's words, but his deeds. He asserted in defiance of his peers that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was a true remark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy, and the fall of civilizations that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow thus. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louis Sois lived by that personal creed, and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved or admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortuno could not reconcile Louisoix's deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently he had made a pariah of his father. Fortuno agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods know Fortuno's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable, he was, with a kind and dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy for your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say, thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. No. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Hail, you three. Graha, surely Kokol hasn't given you out of the forge already. For better or worse, no. However, he has set me a task that requires more than a single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Allah? Can you spare the time? Perfect. This shouldn't take long. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantine falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Kokol wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to anvil on a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames of Kokol's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled to his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected aether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. Is this where we part then? Well, see you in Charlie and Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. This way then. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water-aspected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself, trust me. Can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Wait here, if you would. God, I must have so many coffers in my inventory that I need to go through. Did everything go smoothly out here? I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Coco will have seen a difference in his forge flames by the time I return. Since I have you, there's another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important. Merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you, and only you, have been to Elpis. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It is a material which saw much use as part of the Allagan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of the world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alleg's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist Amon. I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his former life. He only joined the Asians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality, so to speak? A natural opposition... Oh, someone's vacuuming in the next room. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that my laptop? Holy shit. But what if souls like minds have a personality, so to speak? A natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alleg that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Zonde. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zonde's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zonde been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet... to reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musings for now. Why don't we see how Copel is getting on? I can feel those flames blazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha. But there's not much left for you to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite any faster. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do. Only... I hate waiting. I want the adamantite. I want it now. Share your impatience. I assure you. Is there truly nothing else we can assist with in the meantime? I wish. This sitting about's unbearable. Pity the forms frown on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can't prove it was premeditated, get you gone. I've mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. I'm certain there are better uses for your time, however. I will join you in the Charlene hand anon.
All set, I take it?
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah! Had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loporitts, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have, for the most part, been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there?
God, that vacuum cleaner's loud.
Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested, with all speed.
Commotion?
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Oh. Hi.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
By the 12! Surely, these can't all be.
Hey! I was wondering if those guys would show up.
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Garlemald shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. Furthermore, 'twas my contacts that enabled us to enlist the cooperation of the Sky Pirates.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
Take that back.
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Soroban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and elegant, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of Rayson Temple. 'Twas passing fortunate that Senri's dango craving brought us to Kugane. We arrived precisely as Hancock was making his arrangements. Upon learning of your need, we made haste back to Hell's Lid, with our dango, never fear, and consulted the other auspices. All consented to the lending of Tenzin's legendary Phoenix Blade for this noble cause.
Wow.
Suzaku and Seiryu were nevertheless worried that it might be lost in transit, however, and insisted upon accompanying me to Onokoro, where I had intended to entrust it to our Confederate allies. I thought instead to give it over to Hancock when we chanced to cross paths yet again. But alas, Seiryu remained ill at ease, and ordered me see the blade into your hands personally, or die trying.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time. Fortunately, our majestic associates have been more than helpful. 'Tis an honor to join the Warrior of Light on another adventure, they tell me.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Loporito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenard Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
We funded the venture? When?
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Yeah, that's right.
Mother!
Millions.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party.
Entirely neutral.
I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full.
I'm taking a drink.
We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And 'twould be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Hey, Aaronville.
Erenville? You were involved too.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlie. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed. To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
Hey, there we go. Alpha and Omega are here too.
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon? And why didn't you mention it sooner? The one time you
did
beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
I very specifically said that.
You brought the team. Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship. Oh, I nearly forgot. We stopped by Whirlit before coming here and picked up a package from Gaius.
Did you? No.
He's still of the mind that actions make for better penance than words, contrite or otherwise, so he offered none of the latter. What he sent is an Allagan relic Valens used in his weapons experiments. Has a fair bit of refined adamantite in it, too.
As you like as not suspect,
I thought they sent the Chi Warrior for a second.
Adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard. I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryl's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshires, treasure hunters, not least among them. I know. How the Gobbyflock fought. Slowfix's gratitude for the safe return of his daughter has not waned, and he gathered his kin to our side with an astounding quickness. The clash between their machina and the Allagan defences was a sight to behold. I wager even you would have been impressed by the magnitude of the Gobby booms.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Garlemald remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better. You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Sommer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence, as ever.
Yo, where is Ashdaha? I'll try again later.
Tiamat and Chrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say, "Very well."
Really?
Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no, 10, no, 14 bleeding percent. Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
I guess, whatever.
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me. As family. You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst.
Starting to tear up again.
'Twas love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelmed, and a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisoix openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool. Perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Cartano. As we pulled that twisted slab of Garlemald from the sea, I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Amelians. Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You've no small number of friends and admirers here, after all.
I'm crying again, by the way. Good fucking gods, look at how far we've come in this goddamn video game. With me.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
Oh, God. I had no idea how massive a weight it was until he lifted it off my shoulders. But more importantly, his words were an affirmation that the path we walk is the right one. A part of me might have been satisfied so long as my family and friends survived the final days, but to save this star is what we all want most. And if those same people believe that I can help to see it done, who am I to say otherwise? Come what may, I will fight for this world of ours until the very end. I cannot wait to see what our friends from the Ironworks do with the ship. Nero's gonna put red somewhere. The time has come to claim our prize. Are you prepared? Unaided, we scions could never have gathered such a bounty. Refined adamantite, relics sacred and ancient alike. I find myself quite overcome. You're not the only one. If I never see another crate again, it will be too soon. Lee sent a letter along with Gridania's contribution. It seems she traveled there to aid in their adamantite recovery. Evidently, journeying to Gridania was quite the trial, as was getting into the Dalamud shard, as was reaching its depths. I suspect we will have a few kind words to say about the Alligans when next we meet. My throat hurts from directing so many people to Labyrinthos, but that only proves we got our money's worth. I apologize for not informing you earlier of Aaronville's involvement. He was something of a contingency plan. Thank goodness we had him and his fellow gleaners to hand. Though, it would have been monstrously difficult to locate, sit, and transport a Hainish delegation here otherwise. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is in the engineer's capable hands. Meanwhile, Father has issued to us an invitation. As was agreed, he will reveal the means by which Hydaelyn may be contacted. We are to meet him in Aporia when we are ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. It transpires, however, that the Forum's method of speaking with her is not without risks. I am curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who arrived with the adamantite have offered to stay and see to any remaining tasks that need doing. Oh, so much reading. The Forum has already asked for my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about a thing. Thank you, Tataru. We're off to Aporia then.